When's the last time you got there? Sure.
And I'm like, well, I'm 10 steps behind you, so I have no idea either.
This will be an old. Before one. Have it done before she can get it. Got infection.
All right, Steve.
We'll call the meeting to order. First thing on the minutes is the approval of the August 2023 minutes. If everybody's had a chance to read them, go through them. If there's no changes or corrections, need a motion to approve.
I move we approve.
Motion approved, need a second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Unfinished business, update on the pavilion renovation.
Pavilion renovation is really getting close. The project is almost getting completed. There's still a few things on the punch list. The Tudor wall, that's the wall that separates the conference room from the main room. There were some problems with that, so they've taken that down and taken it back to Kentucky, I believe that's where they're from, to work on that, to bring it back. So hopefully that'll be in the next week or two. They still have the lockers to put in the lifeguard room. There's a little bit of touch-up paint. We just secured, we've got to have the training on the sound system. Sean and I messed with it a little bit today and figured out how to play sound, but not the video part of it. So hopefully that'll take place yet this week. A couple of ceiling tiles that need replaced, but other than that, I mean, everything's going well. We had the family safety day down there Saturday. It went well. The fire chief told me today, he said, had nothing but great compliments on the way the building looked, and you know, everybody just thought it was in awe of the building. So we are going to have ceremonies for ribbon cutting scheduled for Wednesday the 27th at 12:45. The ceremonies begin. You're all welcome to attend that. Love to see you there. I've asked Steve to represent the park board in the ribbon cutting portion of the ceremonies. Zimmer Biomet wanted to keep that to a small group, but there's speakers. I think the mayor and the CEO of Zimmer Biomet are going to speak, as well as refreshments afterwards, and then we're going to have about a 2-hour window for the public to view the building after that ceremony as well. So hopefully you all can come down to that, and it'll be a great day. You know, this was all made possible by a $2.5 million donation from the Zimmer Biomet Foundation, and you know, what a great opportunity for the community to have this building in this condition again. So it's going to be a big asset again. So, any questions?
Okay. Report on the recreational trail.
Thought this would help us a little bit here. So where we're at with this so far, they've started the work on the concrete. They have like this. They have this portion of it done here. The sidewalks are done. They have this sidewalk finished. They're actually right down there right now putting the footers in for the ADA access in front of the pavilion here. All the lifeguard chairs are in. The building, the old pump house has been cut down. The steel is ordered for that, for the flooring. So they're moving right along. They're ahead of schedule right now in their project, and the goal is to get this part here completed and move each direction so they're not running over the concrete as they work. We have asked them to do some additional work from this concrete walkway here to the back of the pavilion. We've had a change order there. We're going to have that. They've torn that out, and that's all going to be concreted so it matches up with new concrete coming from the building all the way to this here. And then we've asked them also to do some extra concrete right here for kayak kiosks to be put on, so. But the project's moving along, and I think they just, their intent is just keep moving along and get it complete, so we're excited about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions, comments?
Have we gotten the work taken care of about the piers?
The piers,
The pier?
no, we have not got the funding for that. Justin's still working on the funding to remove the old pier and also to get the new piers. So he's still looking at possibilities for grants and funding for that. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to new business. Judy Hyman, Kelly Park Noise.
Yeah, I've asked Judy to come and address the board. So, Judy, if you want to go up to the microphone there and
All right, I'm Judy Hyman. I live on East Baker Street, and I have Kelly Park behind my house. Lovely park, and I know Diane used to live out that way. And I've lived in my home for 43 years. I'm on property that my parents purchased 75 years ago, so I have an invested interest in my home. You guys put in pickleball courts behind my house. And I'm telling you, I'm about ready to lose my flipping mind over it. I'm not kidding. I don't know if any of you live near pickleball courts, but it's awful. It's repetitive, it's loud, and they've been there, I don't know, 3 years or so. And I really wasn't that bothered by it until this year, because the activity has picked up. And there's a lot of heavy-duty players there that hit hard, and I can't go outside anymore. And I'm an outdoor person. I love my outside. I love working in my flowers, my yard. I'm outdoors all the time. I can't do it anymore. The sound is driving me crazy. I have to wear earplugs. I have to wear headphones. I have a 3 seasons room on the back of my house. I can't have a window open in my house anymore. I have to run a white noise machine if I'm out on that room. And I have to look out the window to see if there's anybody out there, to see if the coast is clear, if I can go outside to do something. I can't live like this. I need something done about the noise on that part and that pickleball. It's hard to explain it if you haven't been around it. Go online and study it. You'll see the people that are losing their minds over it. It's awful. So I need help. I don't have the answers on what that help is. I'll tell you what I'd like to see done. I'd like to see it moved out of there. Or enclosed. My absolute last thought would be possibly to restrict the usage of it. But I can't live like this, and I don't know how I can be expected to.
Judy and I actually had a meeting with the mayor, and we discussed some possibilities. Of course, eliminate the courts, use different paddles and balls, limit use of courts, only play at certain times, put the walls and the roof on the courts, or we had looked at acoustic sound barrier. This is a product that they have. They've used it all across the country. This is something that takes the decibel level down. You hang it on the fence. Of all these things here, eliminate the courts. I'm not a fan of that. To use different paddles and balls, we did research that, and I think I shared a video with all you guys. That's mainly for indoors that they use on there. They don't recommend that outdoors, what the balls they were talking about. Limiting the court play times, I don't know how we police that. That's where I struggle with that one. Of course, putting walls up and a roof over the courts, I mean, we're talking $2 million to do something like that. And then as far as the acoustic,
It's not that much.
It's not. You put up a pole building structure, and you could put up pretty ones.
ma'am, I just built the building, it was a pole barn structure, and it was $3.6 million, so,
A pole barn?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, okay, now wait. Hanson pole buildings, they're nationwide.
I looked up their pricing for their pole buildings. Now, that is only the materials to put the pole building up. That is, I mean, I'm talking a 60 by 96 for $54,000. That's all your material. It doesn't include your concrete, which you don't need a lot of concrete in that building because you're just going around the edges. And 60 by 96 is a lot more than what you need. $54,000. Now, that doesn't include your electrical, but you don't need anything that big. You know, I totally disagree with you because spending is ridiculous in this country. And you just need to fix the problem. You don't need to make it so it's ridiculously priced, so taxpayers have to pay that. That's crazy. That's crazy. I live in Warsaw. And if you built something like that, I'd be here every meeting saying, what the heck? But the decibels are 60 to 70 on those paddles and those balls. Those barriers brings it down, but it doesn't stop the repetitiveness.
It kind
That's
of-
what drives you
it kind
nuts.
of
It's not
mo-
necessarily the noise, it's a constant, okay, what if you come out there, have it next to your house and see if you like it?
It's that,
You wouldn't.
that panel you're putting up, Larry, is kind of
It's not
muffles it.
necessarily the
Let's
sound.
talk one at a time, okay?
The,
Thank you.
the panels that he's talking about, in my opinion, kind of muffle it a little bit. It doesn't kill it.
That's what I was trying to say before I was interrupted. Those panels calm the decibel level,
Yeah.
and they're made to block the level, as I shared a video with all of you as far as how it blocks the decibel level. As you and I talked to the acoustics guy on the phone, Judy, he told us it would not block the sound totally because it's not enclosed.
Right.
So that's what I was
And
trying
it's
to
not-
get to.
It's not gonna help me if it's not, that noise travels out the top. And I live 8 to 10 feet above that court. My house sits high. And, I mean, the noise is gonna come right out and travel right over. I don't see what those panels are gonna do. And I've read a lot on that, studying this problem, that those panels don't do what they say they're gonna do. That they, I don't know if they use the term hoax, but sort of along that line, that they said don't be fooled by them. So I just feel like I'm not getting anywhere with this.
We realize we have budget things we have to worry about,
I understand that.
okay? And we have a lot of money invested in putting those courts in.
But did you consider the people when you put them in?
Well, when this came about, to be honest with you, pickleball was new, and we didn't know a lot about it. We knew we needed courts. We knew we had a lot of pressure on us to build courts, so no, we didn't go
Yeah,
interview neighbors.
I think you got a situation that you didn't know what you were dealing with, and you got it in way too close, and you're expecting me to suck it up, and I can't. I cannot deal with it.
I will give you some other information when I talked to the acoustics guy. He said typically when they build a development, they would suggest 500 feet away from the courts. He said it's acceptable to 150 feet away from the courts. Judy's pack is 320 feet from the court. So that gives you kind of the decibel range in talking to the acoustic guy of the length between the courts where a new construction as opposed to where it's acceptable. That was the information that he gave us.
And the other thing, this park is behind me, it's wide open, the space is. There's no foliage or anything in there, no houses in between, it's just wide open, nothing to block the sound. You know, the houses across the street from me, straight across, probably have no problem because our houses block all of it. And it sits lower.
Larry, is it possible to do something like that, you have that barrier going around it, but then like a picnic shelter's roofing over the courts? Is that
Anything's possible if
Is
you have
that
the
a
funding, yeah.
realistic,
Yeah.
I mean,
You have the money to do it.
How
well, that's
about
why I say, is
trees?
that
Yeah.
realistic? I don't, yeah.
Would trees help?
Trees
would it
would
take
probably,
too long?
trees would probably help in the long term, but I think Judy wants something that's
I'm
short
there
term.
now. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
flipped out all winter thinking this is gonna start in again in the spring.
Yeah, I'm looking at an aerial view and an angle towards her house from the courts. We just don't have the property there to plant trees either. It's about a 5-foot range.
5 foot to the edge of the.
Yeah. I'm not sure who owns that property to the east of you.
Casey Guzman?
Yep, yep. And their property almost butts right up to the court there.
Can I say something? I-
Yeah, you can go up to the microphone there. Yeah.
I lived in Green Valley, Arizona, okay? The West always starts something and it trickles this way, okay? In Green Valley, I'm gonna say, I lived there for 7 years, I'm gonna say there's probably 50 courts in that city. And that city is actually 2 towns together, Green Valley and Sahuarita. It is a retirement community. And I'm gonna say there's 40 to 50 courts in that small town of probably, it's a snowbird city. There's probably 35,000 people there, 30, 40,000 in the winter. There's less in the summer because it's hot. But when they designed theirs, okay, they're all away from housing. They're out in the desert. Or they are in the recreational facilities through our HOA. And, you know, even if you live close to that, you don't hear it because they designed it so it wouldn't bother the people that live there. Okay? And if you read anything about these things, it's planning that messes it up because there is litigations all over the United States on these. And it's because they were not planned properly. And I can tell you right now, there's a litigation going on right now in a community that is probably, the homes in there are $750,000 to $2 million homes. And they built courts there. They were away from everybody, but now they have built new housing around there. Litigation has already started. Those people do not want to hear that. Night, I mean, all day long and out there, they're lit courts. They play forever.
In my
And
case, it makes a difference that
So it's
I already
planning.
lived there, and it came into me. I didn't move into it. See what I'm saying? It's,
How about your neighbors? Are they all having the same
well, I've got
problems?
probably 4 neighbors on the other side of me. The one, Guzman, that's right beside me, she doesn't even live there most of the time. She's, works in South Bend and lives part of the time in South Bend. One of the houses is a rental. The guy just moved in it first of the year. I don't know. He can move out anytime he wants if he doesn't like it. The other 2 are working people, not home during the, I'm retired, obviously. But they're working people, they are not outdoor people. I've never seen them outside other than mow their yard. And their windows are all shut up. They probably don't even know it. When I'm in my house, have everything shut up, I don't know it. I'm fine with it inside. But I don't want to live like that. I want to be outside some. And I cannot be in my yard listening to this. It's actually called noise pollution, is what it is. And I'm pretty sure what the city did was they went the least expensive route of taking out one of the tennis courts, because it was already there, and just put the pickleball courts in on top of it, or maybe added to it. I don't know what, but there was a reason it was put there, and it was not planned out well, and now I'm the victim of it.
Well, to address one of the things you said about building them out away from everybody, by definition, Warsaw city parks are in the city limits. We don't have any land or any reason to build anything outside of the city.
What about the
So they're going to
athletic
be,
complex?
they're going to be close to homes. I mean, there's just nothing we can do about that.
I think you saw that in Winona Lake as well. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, that's
they're right
ridiculous
in
what they
Winona
did
Lake,
to
they're
those
closer than
buildings.
that.
And I think, from what I've seen, the information Larry sent, the best we're gonna be able to do is try to come up with funding to hang these things up and try to deaden the noise a little bit. So,
I want to go back to her idea of something on the top.
Well, we don't have funding for that. It takes,
How about if I make a donation, would that help?
if you want to pay for it, certainly, we'll name it after you.
Well, Judy, commit to 1.5 million.
It could be.
To put a top on it?
We're not gonna put up just an ugly old pole building. No,
We have ugly buildings
Put
all
the
She
over.
top-
was talking about,
to
we were
put
talking
the-
about some kind of a,
to put a
Yeah,
picnic
top.
like a picnic area to cover it, but you would still need these.
yeah.
So I would suggest we try these first and see how that goes.
Did anybody go around the neighborhood and ask people what they
No,
thought of
we
that?
did not.
Wouldn't that be something that you would want to do and explain to people what you were doing? It's the taxpayers that are paying for this, okay? And say, this is the noise you're going to be listening to, this is our hours, you know, this is what we're going to allow. I think,
But what
That
should have been
was
done
very
maybe
arrogant.
doesn't help right now, doesn't help with the problem right
no,
now.
but it might help in the future for another mistake like this. I can tell you, I have been friends with her for almost 40 years. I've never seen a woman that has the mental anguish that she has right
dying
now.
over it. I'm dying over it.
She is distraught.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm under doctor's care right now. I'm so full of anguish over this. It's ruining my life.
It's crazy.
I don't think when the courts were put in, that the noise was something that was thought about.
Isn't there an ordinance on noise? in
No.
Warsaw?
Not during the day. I believe it's
After
after hours.
After 11, I think
Maybe
it
it's
is.
believe
something that
so.
needs to be looked at.
Yeah, and I don't remember for sure, but don't believe a lot of tax funds went into building that.
No, it's all K-21
it was-
Foundation and Dana
You know,
Mary
I mean,
Louise
the
Yeah.
Foundation.
decibel thing, people can only stand so much.
Sure.
It wouldn't be any different.
Oh, I wouldn't
It
be,
would not be
no.
any different.
I would not love to live there.
Well, I
I
lived
wouldn't
there,
let it in my
I lived there
backyard.
for 43 years. It came to me.
Mhm.
I don't think, I think we're very sympathetic to the issue you have. I think, again, it's not something that the board or the city or that was something that was discussed, the noise issue. Unfortunately, you know,
But to me, you gotta fix it.
and that's, you've got to give the board some time to discuss what the options are.
I give you plenty of time to
Um,
discuss options.
And of course, there are then the budget constraints that,
But I've gotta have action. I mean, I cannot have this. Giving up and losing my home is not an option. It just is not. And these courts, I don't understand why you can't do a little bit of restriction on, so I have some time too. This was my space. I've had my space taken away from me.
How would you like me to go about to restrict them? Would you like me to lock them up
Well, I
daily,
think
or
there's
would you
probably
like me
some
to
kind of
unlock them daily?
automatic
I mean, it
lock.
creates another employee situation to go out and lock them up and then to police them. How would you like me to do that? I mean, that's what I
Well, that's
struggle
what
with.
we gotta talk through.
Oh,
Pardon me?
well, You can put timers on gates to open at certain times. That's not a huge expense. It isn't, you know, and you don't mean, like, even the dog park, I have to have a
Fob.
midget to get in the gate, okay? Well, I can give that to somebody else to use it, okay? But they still, there is things that you can do, that you can put it on a timer, the gate opens at this time, it locks at another time, they get locked in, it's stupid them.
I'm not sure that's going to solve the problem, because when I talked to Judy in the first place, she wanted me to eliminate all weekend play.
Well.
And I don't see a reason to have a park if you're going to eliminate weekends.
She didn't say eliminate.
She did to me
I did
in my office.
originally because I
Yeah.
was so upset.
Yeah.
When we talked to the mayor the other day,
Yeah.
I told you I backed off of that. And I
Okay.
didn't put that in the discussion here.
Mhm.
Because I did. I backed off of that.
Okay,
So we need to be honest here.
I am being honest.
I listen to this every morning, off and on in the afternoon, I never know when, all evening from 5:30 till dark, and all weekend long. Just constantly.
What would be your suggestion for the courts to be shut down? What times and how often during the day?
Talk through it.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm trying to talk through it. I'm asking what you would prefer.
I would like to have my afternoons, maybe different on the weekends.
So afternoon, you mean by what time?
Like 1 to, those people come at 5:30, 1 to 5, something like that,
Restricted from 1 to 5, or you can play at 1 to 5?
restricted from 1 to 5.
What time do the morning people usually leave?
I think they leave around 11 or 11:30.
Yeah, I thought they're usually gone by noon when I get out there, yeah.
So then we would open up at 7, play till 1,
Now, wait a minute. Say that
In the morning?
7 in the morning,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
play till 1 o'clock, restrict play from 1 to 5, and then we would have play from 5 to when the park closes.
But I'll tell you, when we have those long days till almost 10 o'clock daylight, it's bad. Because I'm into my house, a nice summer evenings.
I'm sure they're willing to look into gate access for a 4-hour window, if that's what the board would like for me to look at,
Yeah, I would,
as opposed to the panels.
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to do the panels if they're not going to work.
No,
Yeah.
that's part of it.
Oh, you want the panels also?
Yes.
Okay.
You said, we'll see how they do before we proceed.
Well, yeah, but then you start talking about just closing it for a certain period of time.
Well, that was all part of it.
Would we need to put panels on the whole thing or just on the side toward her house?
It's, what we were proposing is on the south side and half of the west side, because that blocks any trajectory towards her house.
Okay.
And that's $20,000 plus shipping to do that for
For
those
these
panels.
panels?
Yeah, yeah,
And
basic-
can they stay through the winter?
yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Basically what the windscreen is now. Is that
The
is that
windscreen,
west
the
and
windscreen
south?
is a little more on the west side than these would go, but yes, yes. Mhm.
So it kind of take the place of the windscreen in a
When
way.
we
Yeah,
also
it would.
need new poles, right?
But that, we're getting new
Yeah.
fence posts, 4-inch posts put in, a new fence put in, 10-foot high, and these would be 10-foot high as well.
Say that again about the windscreen is a little further west. What do you mean by that?
On the west side, it's a little further to the north.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
I think the windscreen is that entire west
Yeah.
fence.
It is, it runs the
Yes,
length.
it is.
And we have to get new poles because of the weight of those.
Yes, yes.
see, I think that fence needs to be higher.
That's what she
it's only
just
8
said.
foot tall.
We have a 10-foot fence going in there, that's why I just
Oh,
said
okay.
10-foot, and the panels would be 10 foot.
Okay, that's good. Now, can I ask you that you would research some type of cover?
Well, I don't really want to spend $20,000 on this if we're looking at covering something.
Why couldn't you do both?
Well, because I think if you do that, you put sides on the building, you don't
Yeah.
put the fence on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you put the
Yeah.
top on, you might as well just put sides on too and spend that $20,000 and make a whole building. I think that would make more
And
sense.
you would have to have lighting, so you're gonna need electric in there.
Yeah.
Would you realistically research it, covering it?
I mean, I'll look into it, yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, be fair about it. Go
Judy,
out-
Judy, I'm as fair as you'll get.
Don't find it $3
I mean, I think
million
anybody in here
dollars.
can tell you that I'm as fair as I can
I'm talking
be.
about something quick and dirty, you don't need a Taj Mahal structure.
No?
And I mean, I'm so desperate over this, I'm willing to kick something in on it. I'm serious. I'm not gonna buy $1 million building, but
I will have to see how high it needs to be for tennis and play, because it's covering the tennis court as well. I gotta consider that. I know at the racket club out there, you've gotta have it a certain height for tennis, so I've gotta take that into consideration, the height of the building. I'll have to think of, 4 sides and a roof, and I'll look into it.
and.
I'll have to look at the
probably-
soils out there and for the poles and stuff. I mean, it's not like a residential place where you and I can throw up a pole barn. I mean, it's gotta be engineered. Everything the city does has to be engineered, so that's part of it too. So I will look into all that for you. But my point is, I don't want to go out and spend $20,000 on that until I know what this is going to be and see which way you would like to
Well,
go.
I'm fine with
Yeah,
that.
because those aren't going to happen until spring of next year anyhow, because that's when our budget comes in for those.
My preference would be the covering it, because I think that would resolve it. And if that happened, there wouldn't be any restrictions on it.
Larry, on that screen, is there life expectancy on that?
I did not ask them that, I did not read that, but I can find that out as well, because yeah.
You know, as far as the pole barn, just take it as basic as you can get it, or structure, I should say, not as a pole barn, but just as.
If we do that, I would almost guarantee you we'll have people coming in complaining about putting up an ugly old building out there and screwing up the park.
Well, we do have code.
Yep.
Do we
About
have
what kind
enough
of buildings
space
to put in
on
the
that
city.
side?
Well, that's the thing, the
I'm not
setbacks,
sure.
I'm not sure we have setback on that
Yeah.
side. So that's
So-
something I'll have to ask the,
But we need to check.
find
I
out.
mean, I feel like I belong in this picture somewhere too.
But I
Well,
didn't
this
hear
whole
you, Judy.
picture's about you.
I know.
Okay, I mean, don't say we're ignoring you because we're
No,
not.
Everything is just being kind of, well, can't do this, can't do that, and I'm feeling very frustrated.
All we can do is try.
That's all I have.
Okay, that's what we're trying to do, but right now, I'm not convinced we can do anything to make you feel better about it. Unless we enclose the whole thing or move it out, and that's not that easy to do. It's just not.
And I think the city owes something since they erred historically.
I think the city was thinking about the pickleball players and like
And not
the community.
residents.
Well, yeah, actually, yes, the residents and the community as a whole.
There's people that's playing there that aren't taxpayers, though. They don't live in the city of Woolstock. They come from all over, and you know that.
I do know that, yeah.
Every one of our
Everyone
parks
is
gets
welcome.
used by other people, every one of them.
We have school corporations from Tippy Valley and all around come and use our parks. I mean, it's not uncommon for everybody to come out of town to use our parks, but you're
I
absolutely
think,
right.
yeah, and I think it's
Yeah.
wonderful to see other people
Well, I'm
enjoying
all
our
for
parks that aren't from our
I am.
area.
Believe me, that park behind me for 43 years has been wonderful. Now, yes, there's been some things, you know, loud music or loud basketball games or whatever, but I know they're gonna be over with. I ignore it, I just forget it. This never quits. It's every day. Weekend is all day long, Saturday and Sunday, all day. Monday through Friday is always in the morning, always in the evening, sporadically in the afternoon. You never know what you're gonna get in the afternoon. It's a horrible way to live.
Well, there's no sense
Come down there
voting,
and sit for an afternoon.
there's no sense voting on these panels until.
Well, I've visited while the construction of the shelter was going on. I've heard what she's talking about.
Right.
but-
Go down there and sit. Would you like that in your backyard? I don't think you
It's
would.
like I said, if I chose to move there and it was there, then shame on me. But I had 2 tennis courts behind me that were perfect. Now this.
Okay, well, Larry will look into enclosing it, but we're not gonna vote
No,
on panels.
I mean, the season's getting,
Well, I know, but that gives him time. We can't do anything till next spring at least
Yeah.
anyway. So now we have time to do that, but there's no sense voting on the panels to hang those until we do this, so that'll put us off, what, another month or so probably.
but try to do everything you can to get a structure. I mean, I'm desperate.
Anybody have any questions, comments? Okay, thank you. We'll look into it.
Okay, thanks.
You're not loading any out by me.
Okay, next up, maintenance report.
All right, yeah. So we've completed the remodel of all of our metal shelters in the parks, the two Lions Club and the Kiwanis Club shelters. We wrapped that up last week, and we're awaiting the new signage to come in, the mount on the side there. That was totally done in-house. Park employees got all the measurements, bought all the supplies, and we were able to do that in-house with a few guys. They're really go-getters, really went to town on it, and if you haven't had a chance yet, you need to go check them out because they turned out really pretty. We removed all the trees by McDonald's, and Dogwood Hills is supposed to be showing up. They said hopefully by the end of this month to plant the new arborvitaes along there. We have all the ground prep, everything ready for them, so they just got to show up and do the work when they're available.
How tall will those be?
So the ones we bought the biggest ones we could get from them. They're going to be 8 foot tall-ish as they get planted. They're fast growers. We planted some over at Fribley Field a few years back, and they're probably pushing 20 feet now.
Yeah.
So the nice thing is they don't spread out a ton, so we won't grow into other trees and everything. But we'll still get that wall, separating us from McDonald's over there. We cleaned up around the outside of the Center Lake Pavilion up front where all the sidewalk work was done. Hauled out some trash, brought in some dirt, and grass seeded the whole area. We also provided some barricades and stuff for the Family Safety Day around there, which sounds like was a big hit last weekend. We've begun ripping out sidewalk at the north end of the Pete Thorne Center, the senior center end. Over the years, that sidewalk's dipped really bad and is pretty steep angle going up towards the building. So we felt like it was the right time to go ahead and fix that before there's an accident there. So we're going to bring in a lot of fill dirt, level it up, get a gradual grade going up to the building, make it a little easier for the seniors to get into the building there. And we're planning on starting to clean out the flower beds around town probably within the next week or so. Fall's here, pretty close.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
And we're thinking about Christmas already.
we are.
I was gonna ask, but I hated to. Questions, comments? Okay, recreation report.
Okay, so we had talked in the past about adding some things for seniors. So our first senior painting class for Wednesday, October 18th sold out in 2 days. So I called the art instructor and she said, let's add a few more classes. The one for November 1st has a few spots left, and we have a waiting list already for when we open up the one on November 8th. Susie came and painted with us on Friday night. She's very talented, very sweet. We had a senior that was actually at that class that called and wants to sign up for everything and anything that Susie does with us. So we're very thankful for that. So we are moving forward with looking at other options, of things for seniors to do here at the Parks Department. This Saturday, we have Touch a Truck from noon to 3 at Lucerne Park. I touched base with Heather today. So far, we've got over 15 businesses participating, bringing vehicles. We've had some bounce houses added to that and just some other things to kind of make it busier. The first hour, so from noon to 1, it'll be a quiet hour. So no horns, no sirens, anything like that, which seems to be something that a lot of parents wanted. A lot of those little kids didn't like those big horns. So we went ahead and moved forward with that. Then we are done with our planning for Fall Family Fun, which is on Friday, October 6th. We will have activities in the cabins from 6 to 8 p.m. Warsaw Missionary Church is going to be feeding 1,200 people in a cabin from 6 to 7:30. That's a new addition this year. And I have talked to Dave Neff at the Kosciuszko Senior Services office, and he is going to run a shuttle for us for the first time ever between the park and Higher Park. So
Great.
That'll kind of help with that additional parking that I know you saw last year, Diane.
Yeah.
We will also have a movie night for the first time at Fall Family Fun this year too. So we've added a lot of fun things to accommodate all of those people that we are expecting again this year.
Is the spooky bounce house coming back?
It is. So, yeah, lots of additions to Fall Family Fun. And then Imagination Station will start up again on October 17th. We have one on November 7th and December 12th. And Heather and I have redone Imagination Station to what most people know it to be from before. We are going to add a lot more hands-on experiences for those kids. So they're not just sitting and doing crafts. They're actually getting up and getting a lot more hands-on experiences with a lot of things. So lots of good things happening.
So what
Coming up.
is the sensory-friendly hour of Touch a Truck again is
It'll
when?
be from noon to 1.
Noon to 1.
And that is advertised, and we've had great feedback from that,
Yes.
so. Yep.
Questions, comments? Don't know how you do it.
I show up every day,
There you go.
sometimes a few minutes early.
Okay, other matters, recognition, member of the month, or
I'm
employee of the month.
delighted to announce that Andy Wright has been named our team member of the month for August. This recognition is well deserved, as Andy has consistently demonstrated dedication to our department, a positive attitude, and a willingness to take on new tasks. So congratulations to Andy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He looks happy in the picture, too.
Likes a certificate.
Well, meeting review, Larry, you got more work to do.
I guess. I will look into it and get the architects and engineers to look at it and get the cost,
Yeah.
and we'll look at setbacks, and, with that being 5 foot on that side, I mean, I don't know, with that span of a building, I mean, it's a big span, what kind of setbacks we'll need, if there's variances that'll have to be obtained for something like that, but I'll look into it. Yeah,
And we need the pickleballers to let us know how much room they need
yes.
from the courts to the
Yeah.
walls and all that kind of stuff,
I
too.
guess I misunderstood. Was she discussing like putting a top over the?
No, she wants it all enclosed.
Well, at first it was a top and then
Yeah.
it was enclosed.
Okay, so
A top with the panels, and then,
I think Michelle mentioned the fact of trees, that with the arborvitae, would that be a benefit if we,
In time, I don't think that time is on her side to be pleased with, but I do
Sure.
think that if a row of arborvitae or something like that was along there, that would
actually along her property would probably.
that
do
deaden
that.
the sound,
Yeah.
but, I mean, you're not gonna get that overnight, so,
No.
yeah. Yeah,
And then it's gonna block her view.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So,
Okay,
unrelated to this, am I doing something wrong with the board pack on where you sign in, whether you're gonna be here or not be here?
See,
The present,
I had the trouble.
Yeah, I'm not-
I just got mine today.
I mean,
did too.
that's happened now for a couple of months. It's not, won't let you
say yes or
say
no,
your,
Yeah.
yes.
I
we'll
thought
look
I
into
did.
that.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some replies from yeses.
Okay.
I
Maybe
just
I
saw-
must
I
be,
See,
just
I
saw
did
mine
mine.
today for
I must be
the
doing
first
something
time.
wrong.
I
Jill
sent
and I
mine
are doing
today,
something wrong.
but
Are you
I
logging in
figured
on the
it
computer
probably was,
versus
I
the phone?
probably didn't do
I
something
do mine
wrong.
on a computer.
And I was
Michelle,
doing mine
Naomi,
on
and
a
Steve
laptop,
did, yeah.
but-
Good
And then
yeses.
mine on tablet.
You got it, yes?
But
Steve
just-
and Naomi and
Okay.
Michelle
was on
did,
there, yeah.
Well,
Suzanne and I.
You're doing something.
Would Jill, let me know if you find out what we're doing wrong.
Yeah, because I tried to do it like in the middle of the month to say I was coming, but it just had the list of all of our names.
I don't
but
Yeah, I did
There was
too.
no way for me to put
I
yes.
did too earlier, and I couldn't get in, but today, it
I
was-
think it's not
Today it
until it
was.
notifies you
yeah.
Okay.
via email
Oh.
is when
So
you.
you do it
Okay.
at the top,
Today's
where the
like-
RSVP?
Yeah.
Kind of,
But before,
Yeah.
before we get the notification. you
Oh,
can't.
gotcha, yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Anything else?
Yep.
Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thanks, gang.
Thank you.
So it's not pulling up that.
Okay, so what I